Hi, welcome everybody. It's so nice to see you all again. If I see you all again, let me click on it that I can see you and not only see myself. Yes. So tonight we are going to talk a little bit about transformation and change and stasis when nothing is moving at all. So often, when we start to work on ourselves, or even when we don't work on ourselves, we want change. So most people, they really want the world to change. And if you can change the world, you mean something. You are somebody. I changed the world. And is it possible to change the world? This is kind of interesting. We can try it. We can try to make the world more safe for ourselves. But does it really become more safe? And often when we're talking about changing the world, we want to change humanity. We want to change the people around us. Or we want to change our partner. You've got to change. So go to therapy. If you go to therapy, you will change. And if we go to therapy, what is changing? What is really changing? So after years of therapy, if you ask a person what really changed, and basically what really changed was their attitude. Their attitude to all the same things. And that makes a change. But, we can go for years in therapy, but we still have 5 fingers on one hand. And we still are sometimes angry. And maybe we still are judgmental now and then. But there is a change. And again, this change is in our attitude. Maybe we are more able to accept our own anger. We are more able to accept our own fear. Maybe, we have a feeling that things are moving more and our life is less static, where we kind of, move again and again and again through the same patterns and get stuck. I am stuck. This is a horrible feeling when you're stuck. Like you're imprisoned. And I think we know this feeling very well, this feeling of imprisonment, of being stuck. And the difficulty is, the more we kind of, take the bars of our prison and try to shake them, try to open them, the more we become aware that we are stuck. It doesn't work like this. So, what is change? And why, when we change our attitude, change is possible? What is happening? So let's give a very simple example. Example I gave a lot already. Let's look into anger. When you are angry, you're not a very nice person. You are bad. So it's better not to be angry, because when you're angry, other people get angry with you and you get rejected, and that is hurtful and nobody loves you. Who wants to marry an angry woman? So better not be angry. So what do we do with our anger if it's better not to be angry? We repress our anger. It's not allowed to be there. Are you angry? No, I'm not angry. I am sad. Just a bit disappointed. But I forgive you. And of course, it's not real forgiveness because, a week later, a month later, you get it all back. You did this and this and this and that and that and that. There's a whole list. And of course, forgiving is not forgetting, but still, the same rage is still there. Nothing changed. So when we are in a conflict with our anger, when it's not really to be allowed there, when we cannot honor our anger cannot change and will not change. We will be angry about the same things again and again and again and again. And of course, we can work very hard to change the world, that there will be no injustice, which is pissing us off the most. But there is always injustice. So we are upset. And then change is coming forward. We basically understand, after a few years of psychotherapy, that it's worthwhile to change our attitude towards our anger. Maybe our anger is allowed to be there. Maybe we should honor our anger. Because anger is part of who we are. And when something gets unsafe, or something is moving over our borders, we get upset, we get angry. So we need to put a border. So we allow ourselves to be angry. And then a miracle is happening. Because this anger which is there, which we were holding on, some of the anger, maybe for years, it's starting to change in a very kind of specific way. It starts to transform. And then once we don't say, okay, I forgive you, but we really experience to the depth forgiveness. We experience understanding. So there is a transformation is taking place. And wherever you look and however you look, if we look to real change, it's always connected with transformation. And of course, we all know this, that, anger transforms itself in forgiveness. But something is needed for that so often. What is needed is that we take our anger serious. We honor our anger. And of course, we want the world to honor our anger. And if you have this kind of clever bastards who are taking our anger serious, although we don't take it that serious, and says, okay, I see that you're very angry. So could you tell me what you're angry about? What is exactly what hurt you? Or where did I go over your border? Or what happened? And then the strange things is happening because it's not only inside ourselves when we honor our anger, but if somebody else is honoring our anger, giving it space and time, automatically we give it some space and time as well. So we start to tell about what we are so pissed off about. And if the other person is listening and saying, okay, I'm sorry that I went over your border. I really did intend to hurt you. I regret this. So what's happening with the anger? It's already, when a person says, okay, tell me about it, what happened? That from screaming, we move into talking. And from talking, we kind of move into understanding in a process of transformation. So it's not only that we can do this to ourselves by honoring our anger, but if somebody else honors our anger, also transformation can take place. And it's often that the things we are fighting with the most, which are the most difficult for us to deal with in life, anger, fear, insecurity, the top three, pain of rejection, the feeling that you are really bad, guilt. So all of this, when we kind of give it space, allow it to be there, are moving these feelings, these energies, because in the end it's our energies, vibrations. These vibrations are changing and they are changing in a higher vibration. That's part of transformation. The slow movement of something which is in a little bit lower vibration into a higher vibration. Forgiveness is a higher vibration as anger. So, what would happen with number 2 of our favorite feelings and emotions? Fear. When we honor our fear, and by honoring our fear, we give it some time and space. We take our fear serious. So by honoring it, by giving it time and space, by taking it serious, we allow ourselves to feel a bit of fear or some fear. We are not in a fight with it. It can move naturally for a few moments. And when fear can move naturally through us, when we are not in a fight with it, when we don't try to control it, when we honor it as a vibration or a feeling of, or an experience, two things are happening. There's a movement downwards and then there's a movement upwards. And that's quite interesting about fear. The more we are able to experience our fear, the more self-confidence we are building, or the more confidence we are building. The more we have a feeling that we don't need to be so fearful for the fear anymore. The more we have a feeling that we are able to deal with life, to live, to be. And that's really the confidence we are building, which is a miracle that this is possible. But then, if we kind of allow the fear and it goes over its hill and it goes down again and it just disappears. And we all know this, you have to talk on a Wednesday evening to a group of international people in a language which is not yours. And you do it. And then afterwards, there is this kind of feeling of upliftment. This feeling of bliss. freedom. And sometimes when it kind of was really difficult, you have the feeling that you can conquer the world. It's unbelievable. So fear kind of has this double movement, kind of moving with fear, allowing fear to take its natural course. It transforms itself into bliss and freedom. And at the same time, in the basis of ourselves, it brings us the feeling of confidence. And that's part that you have the feeling, that you can conquer the world after you went through some fears. Your self-confidence is unbreakable. Till you get rejected or something like this, then you shrink again. But again, at least for some time. And we have insecurity. This is another one. And especially when we are teenagers and we start to reach out, to having a boyfriend or a girlfriend or both. So insecurity can be so strong. It's almost impossible to express what to say, what to do. That is a very deep one. It is an emotion and a feeling at the same time. The emotional part of insecurity is the fear which comes with it as well. And what would happen if we would change our attitude towards insecurity? I am very insecure. I feel very insecure at this moment. I experience insecurity. I have no idea what to say to you, but I like to talk to you or to talk with you. What would happen? So the first thing is already a transformation is taking place. The moment you're able to express this, you don't need this mask of, I know everything. Oh, I know already. But you are able to say, I don't know. I don't know how to react. I don't know how to act. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. So again, we have this beautiful movement towards purity. It becomes real. It becomes pure. It becomes interesting. It becomes interesting because the masks are falling away. So insecurity, uncertainty, all of this is moving into the whole area of not knowing. And of course, when we get very used to this area of not knowing, a miracle is happening. Because if we don't know, we get so open-minded. We get curious. We can perceive things. We kind of move by itself into the here and now. It's for real. So there is an incredible beauty in this. And this, we all get for free. There's nothing we need to do for it. Anger transforms by itself. We don't need to do anything for it. It transforms by itself into forgiveness the moment we allow it to be there. And again, forgiving is something else as forgetting. We can forgive, we don't need to forget. And often we switch this to, if people are forgiving us and it's not from the depth of themselves, not from a transformation, they forget it. In the Netherlands, they say you put it under the sand over it. Sand over it, so it's covered. When it's covered, it never really happened. And of course, it will happen again. That's why we have a list. So that is not forgiveness, that is forgetness. Forgiveness is that you really, in the depth, forgive, understand what is happening, what went over your borders. But we don't forget it. It means that the next time maybe we are a little bit more smarter in putting a border. We're saying, hey, not again. We talked about this. So also fear, the moment we allow ourselves, and maybe in the beginning a little bit and a little bit and a little bit and a little bit, till we kind of come to a period, where we really start to enjoy our fear. Why would we, for God's sake, enjoy our fear? Because when it is free to move and it goes by itself, it's our nature. It brings us into these places of upliftment and freedom. So it makes it worthwhile. And we know this, at least some of us know this. They go to Disneyland. They kind of do all this kind of tricks to frighten the body to death. Horror movie, whatever. And after that, we feel kind of a little bit liberated and uplifted. Because there was a bit of fear moving. It's really kind of amazing when you go to the fancy fair or to Disneyland and people go to this, roller coaster. And then you look at them when they come out, they can hardly walk straight. And not because they're dying of fear, but they want again. Their eyes are open, wide awake. This feeling of space and liberation around them. They're high on their hormones, on the adrenaline. And of course, when we look to insecurity, to be able to contain insecurity, that insecurity is to be there. That is a deep change which is taking place. This is, where the seed of wisdom starts to grow, where we move into the here and now. Where purity is born. And all of this we get for free. We don't need to do anything. We only need to allow it. Not to resist, not to fight, not to grab. Just allow it to be there. Learn ourselves to relax in any feeling, emotion which is there, because any feeling, any emotion moves through cycles, cycles of transformation, of refinement and refinement and refinement. Sometimes it changes dramatically, like anger and forgiveness, and sometimes it doesn't change so much, like stillness. The first time we kind of really move into the depth of stillness, it is so strong and so amazing, so pleasant. And of course, when we have an experience like this, we want to hold on to it. But if we are able to let it go, to let it find its own course, so it comes up, it disappears, it comes back, it disappears, it starts to circle by itself. It's always there in the background. But the more we are able to give it its own movement, its own form, the more refined it becomes. There is always, in every experience we allow ourselves to have, a process of refinement, transformation. So when we look a little bit more deeply into this, then basically evolution, as we know it, is also a process of transformation. So maybe we are in a universe what is transforming itself slowly and slowly and slowly in a more and more refined form of itself, a higher energy. And we are part of that. So why would we fight it? Why would we resist it? Okay, I leave it like this. We have a 5-minute break, and after 5 minutes, we have a beautiful guided meditation.
There we go. The non-dual transformation in us greets the non-dual transformation in you. First of all, we transformed by making sure you can actually hear the guided meditation. Not that you can't meditate without it, you surely can. So let's find a comfortable position for this body of ours to transform in. Let the body take a position where it feels supported, more or less. Where it dares to relax a little bit. And as you close your eyes, opening up to the sense of the body, allow the image of a body to dissolve and give way just to passing sensations. If you like, you can imagine you have no body, just allowing sensations to appear and just as easily disappear. And perhaps little by little you can draw your attention to that space in which the sensations appear and disappear. Perhaps it's the space around the body in which the body is sitting or lying. Let yourself be this space in which the body is relaxing now. We're letting ourselves be as the air in the room, this open space of awareness in which sensations appear and just as easily disappear. And maybe it can appear that we're not in a body. We are this space in which bodily sensations appear and just as easily disappear. The body is in us. Let yourself be interested in this space, the atmosphere of this space in which the bodily sensations are occurring. We are this boundless space of awareness. And all these things are existing within us. We're allowing sensations of these bodies to easily appear and just as easily disappear as we remain, like the air in the room, like the sky above, the great space around. And as you let yourself arrive as this space of awareness, let yourself truly be natural here as awareness. Let it fill up with any emotion or energy or atmosphere that it wants. Owning the space of awareness now, as we relax deeper and deeper still. You're relaxing as the stillness in which even the tiniest sensation can appear and just as easily disappear. Thoughts might be occurring, but we are not the occurring. Emotions might be happening, but we are not the happening. Sensations could be passing through, but as this awareness, we are not passing. Now from this place of spaciousness, maybe there's an atmosphere or a mood or a memory which seems to you quite rigid, like it will never change. Maybe there's a feeling or a background state which feels stuck that you'd like to work with now. Perhaps it's an atmosphere within you or a difficult emotion. Or maybe it's an energy between you and another being. Something that it seems will always be this way. That's life. This is your chance to allow a transformation. So just relax as the open space and see what troubles want to come forward, claiming to be permanent, forever the same. There's all the space for these hidden sufferings to take form now. Allow them to take any form, from the past, present, future, or even from your imagination, giving them all the space to perform. Just let these difficult energies, these troubled waters, take a form now, any form at all. Just allow yourself with a great space to experience this form. What do you feel towards this form? How do you look upon it? We're becoming aware of how we feel towards this form, our relationship with it. Just give all the space for whatever feeling or emotion comes forward as you gaze upon this form, as you experience this form. And as you begin to become aware of how you feel towards this changing form, perhaps you could go a little bit deeper still. What's behind that feeling? Where is it affecting you? Where are you hooked? Where does it touch you? Where is it bothering you? How has it impressed you? And opening up to the feeling information which is here deep inside behind that. Opening to discover the information which is here deep behind our consciousness as we relate to this form. Just let yourself relax and softly open to discover even something new of how you are affected and touched by this form as you witness and experience its movement. What wants to come to life from inside of you? Perhaps there's some part of your essence, of the deepest part of yourself, which wants to inform, to take form. And maybe you could give that some space now as well. We're allowing a little of the nectar of our own being to take form now. giving it all the space of awareness to have a life of its own. Allowing these vibrations to become boundless wherever you are aware. As we relax again, there's the space of awareness in which the body is deeply at peace now. The body is breathing within us. Any feeling or emotion which arises, allow it to take a form of a color or a shape, or a field of sensation or a cloud, or an energetic form. All we need to do is allow it. Let it have a life of its own. We're allowing any place that feels stuck to take form. And as it takes form, we're allowing it to transform in any way it needs. Going where it needs to go. Knowing what it needs to know. Flowing just as it needs to flow. And wherever we are journeying, we can also now become aware of the softness of our in-breath and of the breath leaving the body, as the stillness of the air around us is being breathed in and just as easily exhaled. As little by little our breathing can lead us to an awareness of the skin surface and the weight of the body. Feeling the visceral warmth and weight of the body right here, right now, as it's being breathed. Allowing this experience of the body to form. All we have to do is allow it. As we let this body have a life of its own. Letting the field of sensation take form and transform in any way that's needed right here, right now. Right here, right now, is the awareness and the stillness of the space all around. All you need to do is allow it. As we are coming back into the here and now, this is where we say goodbye to people watching on the YouTube live stream. Where we end the YouTube live stream, even if you're watching it in the future. We can already feel you. Thank you for joining us and being here now. And we will be back again next Wednesday at the same time. Thank you for joining us.